everyone, this is Paul Gale from PaulGaleNetwork.com, and thank you for joining me today for video game news. It is December 9th, 2020, and these are the top stories of the day. To kick things off, we have some pretty cool news to talk about from Nintendo and how well the Nintendo Switch has been doing in China. Specifically, in 2020, which still has a couple of weeks left to go, Nintendo has sold 1.3 million Nintendo Switch consoles in that country. That's an impressive number because not only is it a successful year, but it brings the Nintendo Switch total up to 3.95 million, passing PlayStation 4's 3.52 million in its lifetime. Now, Nintendo Switch is a newer console, so it's going to sell for longer from this point out than the PS4. So to already be ahead by 400,000 is pretty considerable, I should say. One of the driving forces I should mention behind this is the success of Ring Fit Adventure. Not only is it a great game and doing well in all territories, but in China it's really quite a driving force for Nintendo Switch doing so well. Of course, other games are doing just fine too, but nice to see Ring Fit Adventure get adopted well by the Chinese market. And moving on, in a little bit more Nintendo news, Best Buy announced something pretty cool, and it's only 15 bucks, but it's a set of 3 coins from Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy. It says here normal price, 20 bucks, on sale today for $15. I know a lot of people wanted those collector pins from Nintendo. This isn't quite that. Those were, out very quickly, and people weren't able to redeem them even if they, completed the Super Mario Collectathon and going through the platinum coins and everything online. So this is, still something. Now you do have to pay for it, but $15 for a cool little piece of artwork and some coins isn't that bad. I think it looks nice. I received a coin similar to this for Super Mario Odyssey back in 2017, also from Best Buy. So even though I don't have this product, the coin looks comparable, and that Odyssey coin was quite nice. So if you're looking at getting this, I think you'll probably like it if you want a little small collector's item. Moving on, Sony dropped this today on the PlayStation Twitter handle, and it's short but fun regardless. I thought I would share it. They just say tune into the Game Awards tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific time. I will be live streaming this event, and I'm really looking forward to it. Now, why am I highlighting this in particular? Because other companies are also saying stay tuned tomorrow. Well, there's a little bit of a rumble behind the scenes that Sony's going to have something big. I mentioned the other day that Jeff Keighley says somewhere around 12 to 15 big titles. I heard that, expect something from PlayStation 2 from other sources. So hearing that and then now seeing this tweet from Sony, I don't know what it is. My fingers are crossed that it's God of War Ragnarok. Let's see that. Gosh, how good is that game going to look? God of War on PS4 was a great looking game. It is a great looking game. It's one of the top visual picks of the generation, I feel. But PS5 just destroys PS4 in terms of power. So seeing what that thing could look like, I'm just hoping that it's a PS5 exclusive. No offense to games that are cross-gen, compatible, but if it's made with the PS5 fully in mind from the ground up, I think that God of War's upcoming title could look magnificent and hopefully be, very solid as well. So we'll see. Got a good feeling. Moving on, Thursday morning usually is when you expect me to talk about video game hardware, software sales from Japan, but Chris1964 over at the ResetEra.com forums laid out this very nicely. This is a little bit of an update. Tomorrow morning I will have, my typical talk of how hardware and software was like specifically for the week prior in Japan, but I have a little information to talk about this evening, so I thought I'd share it. We have a look at the top 5, And we have Momotaro Dentetsu for Nintendo Switch coming in at 472,426 copies sold. Quite a lot of shipment there. Pikmin 3 Deluxe at number 2, 315,862. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity at number 3, 213,000. Ring Fit Adventure number 4 at 162,000. Animal Crossing New Horizons at 5 at 160,000. Now I will say, this is up to date from up until November 29th, but those numbers are not what they sold in the week. That's what they sold in that time frame of October 26th to November 29th. That's considered the month of November. It's a 5-week month in Japan in terms of Famitsu's sales this time around. So Momotaro, don't make a mistake, it's not 472,000 for the week, it's for the month, but still quite a successful launch for that. They moved, close to 500,000 in just a few weeks, so very impressive. And 3 of these 5 games are, quite new, with Ring Fit Adventure being, the only title from 2019, and Animal Crossing, early 2020. So good to see a healthy divide of titles, some evergreens doing this well in the holidays, early holidays, November, and some new titles. There's a little bit of a look here, extended look. Nintendo was the top software publisher with almost 1 million copies sold of all of their games combined. Konami at almost 500,000, and Sony at a little over 250,000, 245,000, respectable. Now the hardware is pretty exciting too, and I'll have the complete breakdown, like I said, tomorrow, of what it did specifically for the week. But Nintendo Switch is having a peak year right now all around the world, and in Japan, when you look at the year to date compared to last year to date, Nintendo Switch is up considerably, 4.9 million compared to 3.3 million for this point in time last year. For this month, 666,000 were sold versus last year's 360,000. Sorry, versus last year's 568,000. Last month was the 360. So right here, you're looking at 98,000 more Nintendo Switch consoles moved during this month of November as opposed to November 2019. However, last year it was 4 weeks for November and 5 for December, and this year it's switched. 5 for November, 4 for December. So we can't just call this holiday season a winner for 2020 for Nintendo Switch in Japan. Rather, we're going to have to look at the whole 9-week, section of time, which won't be ready until the end of the year's close. But so far, Nintendo Switch is up ahead. Now we have to see, can December maintain that? Because now things shift. We've got 4 weeks left instead of 5 like last year had. And PS5, respectable launch, 201,000, only has a couple of weeks to work with. Xbox Series at number 3 with 27,000, PS4 at number 4 with 15,000, 3DS at number 5 with 3,600, and Xbox One with 151. That's just for how many units were sold in the month of November. And obviously we have our year-to-dates and last year-to-dates, but pretty exciting, this one right here. That's 666 versus the 568. I'm rooting for Nintendo to beat its holiday record from 2019. Don't know if it'll happen in Japan. Its year-to-date, obviously, has already passed it. Will the holiday section of 9 weeks? We'll see. And finally, in video game news today, Insomniac Games. Here you see GameSpot reported it earlier. Insomniac Games, I got to hand it to them. Not only did they deliver a really solid game in Spider-Man Miles Morales, love it, and a nice Spider-Man remastered on PS5, and later on saying, okay, you can use your save from the PS4 version in the PS5 version of remastered at a later time, But they also have Miles Morales running in, performance mode and fidelity mode. Now they found a way to kind of balance them out where you could get that ray tracing effect that normally you could only get in the 4K mode, but have it run in 1080p and experience it in 60 frames per second, which was only before in performance mode. So you're kind of getting a nice healthy combination. That's really awesome when a developer does this, you know? You have people that don't care too much about the frame rate, want the most crisp picture. You have people that, you know, are okay with graphics looking a little less awesome, a little less rich, don't care about ray tracing, and just want a smooth experience. Well, what if you happen to be in the middle? 1080p is good enough for you, whether that's the TV that you have or you're just fine with that clarity. You want the ray tracing, you want all of the visual pizzazz, still clear, and experience it in 60 FPS. Very solid. So giving gamers options like that is really cool. So props to Insomniac for doing so. And that's going to do it today for Video Game News with Paul Gale Network. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you tuning in. Looking forward to your comments. Let me know what you thought about today's stories, and I'll see you all next time. Take it easy. Bye.